this is Lexi, and I'm going to show you some of the cool features that you can do with Google Earth. And to download Google Earth, you just search for Google Earth on any search engine, and you should be able to find it, and you just hit download Google Earth, and it tells you exactly what to do. There's tons of cool stuff you can do with Google Earth. And I already have it downloaded and signed in. So this is what it looks like when you first sign in. And over here, there's all these different layers of stuff you can look at. That's a little more in-depth than I'm going to go into right now, but it is an option. There's, you know, there's weather. You can see the weather patterns and all different kinds of stuff. And right here is something I think is really cool. It's called tour guides. And you just pick, you can look down here and look at all the different tours that have just pictures of all this cool stuff. And I'm going to look at this one. And you just click on it and it zooms in. And then it shows you all these pictures. You can just keep zooming in. And you see all of these pictures. And you just click on them. And it shows you all the different pictures that you can look at on that specific tour. So that's a really good way to just, you know, look at different areas in the world, and you can do it with many different places. All these little icons right here are different pictures of different stuff. So, you know, there's a lot of really cool pictures of really cool stuff around the world. And so that's a really cool thing, is this tour guide. You can look at all this stuff. And you keep going down and it shows you, you know, it actually shows you different places. Here's the Grand Canyon in 3D view, which is pretty cool. And you can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can take a really cool 3D tour of the Grand Canyon. And this particular picture, you can actually go back in history and look at what it looked like back in history. So anytime you see this little clock right here on the lower left corner, it tells you a date, and that's the farthest back you can see this. So up here there's a little time slider bar, and you can actually go back and see what this looked like in history. So you can go all the way back to 1940 and see what it looks like. My computer's not loading it that fast, but you know, normally it's a lot more clear and you can just see what it looks like all the way back to 1940. You can do that with all different kinds of places. One thing I'm going to show you that's really cool with that feature, I'm going to look up Tacoma, Washington Narrows Bridge. You can use this for all kinds of history lessons and, you know, geography lessons, and can just relate it to so much stuff. So, Tacoma Narrows Bridge. Oh, hold on. Okay, so you can go to the Tacoma Narrows Bridge, and I think this is a really cool feature. So I'm going to fly to this location. It's going to zoom me down to the actual street view of the bridge. And as you can see, that little clock is there. So I can actually look at what the bridge looked like all the way back in history to when there was just one bridge. And I can even look at it all the way back to 1990. I think that is a really cool feature that you can include in many history lessons and lots of other stuff. So that is another really cool feature. Now, something else that I think is really cool you can tie in with many science lessons. You see this little toolbar up here. You can press this planet, and there's other layers that you can look at. The sky, Mars, the moon. We're going to hit sky, and it actually turns us around to the sky. And it just zoomed us in to a constellation. And there's all kinds of information on it. Tells you about what you're looking at. Pinwheel galaxy. You can go to a high definition view of that and it just zooms in more. I think this is really good for tying this into science lessons. And you can view all kinds of different stuff. Pretty much all these pictures that they have collected together. And this tells you a little introduction about it. You know, and you can go to Mars. Gives you the startup tip again. It actually takes you to Mars, and you can look at rover. You can go all around it. You can actually look at rover feeds. You can zoom in and look at the surface. You can look at actual imagery of Mars. You know, there's information everywhere. Different pictures, and that is another really cool feature that you can tie in with lots of lessons. The last thing I'm going to show you is something that I'm actually not that familiar with, but I think it's a really cool feature that you could use in the classroom. You can actually make your own virtual tour. So over here you see this little record button where you can actually record a tour. So I'm just going to do a small tour of downtown Tacoma, see how this works out. So you hit the record button, and this little box comes up, and you can actually hit record. Now it's recording. This is downtown Tacoma. You can zoom out, show the area. You can actually zoom in to street level. We're zooming into the Museum of Glass. You can look at the buildings. You can tell people where certain stuff is. You can show different places, and then when you're done, you just hit the stop button. And it actually plays your tour, and you can save it. You know, it records it exactly how it was. You can save it to your computer. You can do whatever. And yeah, it's just a really cool feature to make tours for your class. You can do it of anywhere around the world, anywhere on Google Maps. You can do it of the solar system. You can use it for lots of different stuff. And those, I think, are the coolest things you can do with Google Earth. There is so much stuff you can do with it that I can't even get into all of it. But those are the main things that I think I will be using in Google Earth and that I think can be used for the classroom. So yeah, thanks for watching my video.